We're back. Sweet.
Episode
Now,
two.
now I don't have to do the intro myself.
The huge weight off of your shoulders.
It's a huge weight. I mean,
I
gosh.
liked it though. I liked it.
How
We
did
can
it
edit
go?
to that one. It was just me yelling Baggies out.
Oh yeah. We need to film you actually like just running through a field screaming baggies out.
That might
That,
happen at one of the hotels.
yep.
Yeah. So what are we doing? What are we looking at, dudes?
I guess we're gonna talk about falling fast.
Like Ricky Bobby Fast?
Yeah, I think like Ricky Bobby Fast. And I guess we could talk about how we feel, what you expect out of the balloon, or if cause some people sort of pee their pants about it, some people don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like it. all
You
the
don't
time.
like it? It,
Not past a certain point. I don't.
it,
Yeah.
it I guess there's a certain point where I don't love it, but it doesn't bother me as much as I feel like it should.
I
Mine.
I think I start puckering at around like once I hit 1,000 down. Like once it gets over that, I'm like, okay, this is pretty aggressive.
For me, it kind of I think depends on what's going on. Like if it does the whip, the sort of
Yeah.
where then that I don't love that, but even that's like mostly okay for me.
So I kind of ironically, maybe not ironically, but the first time that I ever recall a balloon whipping was flying my 90 and just doing apparently a very aggressive maneuver on landing. uh, just venting really hard or popping up really quick and then venting super hard, then hitting double burners and the 90 round balloon just kind of went crack. I was like, oh wait, that's new, and that was before I had ever flown a racer. So
That's one of the things that stood out for me, like on my I guess it's sort of not quite the same thing, but like during my solo flight, where like I could burn, and I'm only used to flying with people, um, or solo training flight, I guess I should specify that, and then at that point, like I'm in the Firefly and I could burn, but like the whole basket would bounce,
yes,
and you could like hear it rippling up the fabric whenever you burn.
I recently flew a light fabric balloon, and it was the bounciest balloon I've ever flown. Like, if you
oh yeah,
normally if you like do a double burn like decent amount of time in like any balloon really, you can kind of feel like the heat slapping the top,
Yep.
and it was like any burn with this balloon. It was like, I mean, it literally was like you were jumping. It was pretty nuts.
Dang.
Not a fan of it. Not a fan of
yeah.
it. I,
Those lightweight balloons, they definitely perform and sound and feel different. I don't know if it's just because of the weight difference overall, like how much lighter the balloon is compared to standard weight fabric, or if it's just the ability of the air mass to get get wonky easier, if that makes sense.
right. Yeah.
But yeah, those are fun.
All right. Do we want to do the show and tell, and then we'll just roll and keep talking about it?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So this was what did we say? Day 4 from the 2022 Nationals. So last year, U.S. Nationals, and I am coming into the fourth task on this one. So it's a Hez waltz, and did you pull up the task sheet?
I have one.
We had to get down low to get a good score otherwise, because the 3D scoring started pretty low on these ones.
Yeah, so the separation altitude on the Hez waltz was 4,500 MSL. And I think we were cruising right around like 9,000, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I think I spent literally 9/10 of the flight at 9,000 or above.
Yeah.
I dipped down. The only time I dipped down at all on that flight was for the fly on, and then went screaming back up.
The fly on was the second task. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I dipped down for the JDG a little bit because that was also 3D scored also, but I didn't go too aggressive down. I think I went more aggressive than most because I got close enough to at least attempt the baggy throw, but that didn't work out. So
sometimes you gotta just check it out and try.
yeah, I figured what's the worst that could happen is I had to pay $20. All
20
right.
bucks is 20 bucks.
Yep. Let's watch the clip, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's not playing. Oh, there it goes.
You're just being very stoic in the basket. Yeah.
Zoom in on that board. Let's we get
Zoom in
some.
on the board.
Yeah, it's board action.
Oh, jeez. This is professional right here.
Yeah.
Look
Yeah, look at that
Look
board.
at that beautiful board.
That's a nice looking board.
Billboard.
So you're just letting it cool down, right? You didn't like vent or anything.
Um, I think at this point I'm probably just kind of cruising along. I don't think I've actually started my descent yet right here.
Okay.
I think I vent on this one. I'm not. I honestly don't remember.
Yeah, you're cruising.
All right. I think I'm making the decision to go down here in a second.
There's a little wiggly thingy above your head. Is that the arm mount that your camera's on?
This thing right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's just like a little. I think it's actually the bat or the tie thing for my battery holder, or for the pouch that the battery sits in.
Gotcha.
Here we go.
That's a nice bend.
Putting all your weight into it.
I wanted to be serious about it.
If you don't pull 16 feet event line, are you even trying to go down?
Exactly. If you don't get to 1,500 feet a minute in 2 seconds, why even bother?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I've noticeably loved about since switching to Lindstrand racers. I can pull pretty much as I want on the vent line, and it doesn't get loose or feel like it's gonna not reseal.
Yeah.
It's great.
That I haven't had a ton of experience, especially dropping like this in other balloons, but this is I've never had a problem where I've been concerned about like the ability to burn into the balloon or anything, or massive amounts of distortion that concerned me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scroll up just a little bit.
Look up or scroll, like that.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
I guess look up is the probably
Yeah.
proper term.
So it looks like your scoop is actually scooping up the wind, like keeping your balloon pretty tight on the way down.
Mm-hmm.
I notice it's like seems like it's puffed out anyways.
Yeah, and you can definitely see some flex right there where
Yeah, yeah.
the wind is hitting it.
How fast down do you think you're going at this point?
I mean, at least 1,000 feet a second down at this point, probably.
A second?
Yeah, a second. No, a minute. I don't. This was so long ago. I don't even remember now. Honestly,
Yeah.
it was. I would say I probably capped out somewhere around 13 or 14 though, because I remember I had to come into this one very aggressively because I was very high up for the most of the flight.
Yeah, I remember. Okay, I remember this one now because those are all like the quote unquote Fiesta balloons for the most part below you, correct?
Um,
Like the guys that are just off the surface there. Like I see, it looks like maybe a Hartzell and
yeah, I think that one's probably Joe. I think that's Chase right there.
okay,
I think most of all these are competitors.
okay. I remember flying over a bunch of non-competitor balloons towards
Yeah, because they
the
were all
lighter part of the
more
flight.
towards the bluffs. I think this was the day that I think the three Heswaltzes were on the. He had put them in the center of the fields, kind of like this,
Yeah,
and I think mine was actually right there. I'm pretty sure I ended up taking a 3D score with not a great score on this one.
Yeah. Let me look real quick. But I think a lot of people probably took a 3D score, to be
yeah.
honest.
I was 3D scored on every task that morning. I didn't throw one
Oh,
balloon.
well, and this one was even the. This one wasn't even a. It was more of like a crack too, right?
It
Because
was.
the target stayed closed or would cycle being open, and so that was another reason
Yeah,
I think I took it. I think I pushed my button like maybe 10 seconds before that target switched to the one that was like all the way across from where I was at. So it
nice.
it was definitely better to take the 3D score than the 3D and the the horizontal distance that would have been added.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about the time.
Yeah, there is over half the field were over 1K away.
Okay.
So most most people were probably a 3D score,
Yeah, and so
which is fine if everyone is taking a 3D score.
right. If yeah, if we're all vying for who sucks the least, then it works
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, that morning was definitely a good representation of, I guess, just being able to adapt to an ever-changing scenario weather-wise. Since we
Yeah.
all launched from a common launch area, um, everybody had trouble getting to the physical targets as well as majority had trouble getting to the 3D targets as well. But
So this is me on my way up, just to show, I guess, the difference in up versus down. But there's not really a ton of change in anything for this. Like, same thing. I've never had, I don't think I've ever had the top open up on me.
no.
And let out a bunch of air
What's your like personal limit to go up?
till it stops.
Like, I mean, depends on how long you hang on that burner handle.
Well, yeah, like I mean, it's. I guess I don't really. I will.
Like when do you start to get nervous? Like, hey, I should cool it off a bit.
1100 for me going up. That's about as fast as I've pushed either of the two racer envelopes I've had.
Oh, I'll go well above 1100.
Going up?
Yeah.
Cool.
I think it's easier it's easier to make it go up faster than it is down faster.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm not gonna do that. So in this instance, right? Like I'm not gonna try to be unsafe about it. If there was no one around me at this point, right? Like everyone, we all dispersed pretty quick on this flight. So I'm not gonna try and shoot out of there after bombing into a target and then, you know, jump out of there at 1100 foot a minute with a gaggle of balloons around me. But if it's just me, whatever, no big deal.
So no limit. No limit. I got it.
But I have other friends in the competition world that have told me they've pushed their balloons, you know, even as high as, you know, 2,000 going up and down. I don't know. I don't know how I'd feel about trying to get that fast.
I I want to say I've probably gone up close to that fast. I know I've hit at least 18 up once or twice.
It's pretty darn good.
Down, like I've heard people say getting down that fast, but like I've tried to let it cool off that fast. Maybe it's just, I mean, you can see it in the clip before where I still add a little bit of air or heat as I'm coming down, and maybe that sort of descends or stops it from going down as fast at that fast. But I feel like I've let it cool off more than that too, and then it's like it just doesn't. It seems
Just
like I
hit the
cap
wall?
out. Yeah, it seems like I cap out around like 14 or 15.
Yeah.
Well, I know on this particular flight that we're watching the video of, I know I had a pretty aggressive ascent. I think I did 1,000, 1,100 going up. Apparently, I made some funny shapes on the way up because, you know, my my competition buddy comes on the radio and goes, "Hey, looking pretty good over there." like I saw that shape. Like I'm like, oh, did I go sideways or something? And so I know what that felt like, and so I'm like, I don't know if I want to push it beyond that. Just with how I had it loaded at the time and current conditions and whatever.
Yeah. I think now we're watching me try to figure out where I was going to put the fly on before I passed the northern line. Because now if I should have just pulled the task sheet up, but I think the task or the fly on, it had to be a distance away from us, but then also slightly higher. Patrick went away.
Well, I think you're right. I think it had to be somewhere at like 5,000 feet or something. Like 5,000 MSL, because I know ground elevation was like 4,100 or something like that.
Yeah, I'll find it here in a second.
Yeah. Oh, okay. No, it wasn't like he didn't do the thing where it had to be higher than the declaration point or whatever. It was just it had to be higher than 5,000 or something.
So we're looking at the fly on.
Yeah. Which I think was task 3.
So the goal altitude. Well, let's see. So on the task sheet, it's task 2 for the day.
Okay.
Task 11 for the event. But the goal, anyway, is 5,000 feet. Declaration method, logger goal 2 with an altitude greater than 5,000 MSL. So I think you have to be above 5,000 when you declare, right? And but your goal is at 5,000.
Can you send me the link for that? And I'll
Yeah.
show it up. I'll put it up on the screen.
Sorry, I was in full screen mode.
It's all good.
I was trying to watch your video. Max pixels.
Here, let's look at the print version. Yeah, that's about the same. But I can do this. Oh, that's probably like too small for y'all to see, though, huh? Here, we'll just do that.
Oh, we can
There
see
you
it.
go.
So there's the PDG, 5,000. Fly on. Had to be on or north of northing line. Declared goal. Oh, declaration point. And then the goal had to be between those two northing lines.
Okay, so your goal altitude is defaulted to 5,000 MSL unless declared greater
That's right.
altitude than 5,000.
Yeah, we could put in an altitude that could be whatever we wanted to, but we had to hit that altitude point,
Yeah.
which I think I called mine at like 9,000 foot or something like that.
I think I might have screwed up on that. Let me see if they have the scores or the declaration points somewhere. But I feel like I had it significantly lower than really where it should have been.
Mm-hmm.
And so that didn't help.
Yeah, that was me too.
Yeah, I mean, I know I wasn't the only one, but I was fairly frustrated that flight.
Yeah, that was definitely a tough flight.
I actually think your approach early on in that flight, Patrick, was pretty interesting, and I had a similar thought because like you basically launched and stayed low, and you tracked back to the northeast for a bit,
Yeah,
or were
yeah.
was it northeast or north? Because it looked like you were trying to get.
Uh, it was yeah, basically northeast. And what I did is I put my pilot declared over there. I don't think it worked out in my favor because it put me so far to the east that there was nothing to bring me back to the west. So for the
Yeah.
fly on hesitation waltz, and whatever else was JDG maybe, but it was just I could never get any closer, and so I just had to climb up after my pilot declared to 9,000 feet and ride a straight line as I'm pushing buttons going by them.
That
Yeah.
that was my concern for most of the flight, and that was why we ended up going for the basically the up high, because that was like the most right that we had that morning, and so that got us closest to the field for an okay score on the JDG. And so that was basically all I was trying to do, was just ride that as long as possible to go as much right.
Yeah.
Yep. I haven't been on Watch Me Fly in a while, so
I don't think I've really been on there since nationals.
right. Did you guys see the?
Oh, actually, that's not
Not-
true. I was looking at it whenever I was at Worlds.
Oh, true. Did you see that they put out like a tutorial on YouTube?
For Watch Me Fly.
For what? For like just using the site? He's put up a couple tutorials and stuff like that.
It was just like last week, I think.
I'm not sure I saw that one.
but I haven't watched the full thing yet. But it seems to be, if you've been on like the Watch Me Fly or Balloon Live, um, you know most of it. But there's a little bit of, I guess there's like a scoring test or something.
Yeah, interesting.
So I've thought about doing that, or at least seeing like what it was all about. Maybe I can get some hints on how to fly a balloon to get better scores.
Yeah.
Si- I guess since we've been talking about going down fast, I think there, there's a fair amount of people that are probably concerned with going down fast. But I guess my take on it is I'm always gonna, you know, I, I, I I'm fairly confident that I'll survive a landing, but whenever I'll show off what happens whenever you hit a little bit harder than you might want to,
Yeah.
and do a yard sale, and we can all here. Let me fix this. Oh, now it's all fucky again.
I've heard it compared to, a paratrooper landing. I don't know. Somebody said one time that they hit the ground at about 1,000 feet a minute.
Yeah, I figure the worst that happens, even if most of the balloon goes, like I have a pretty good parachute above my head, so I'll probably be okay.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Not too bad though. I mean, you
Nah.
had help.
Yeah, that was why I ended up going for it because I knew that there was people there to jump on immediately, and I just committed to it and went for it.
Yeah.
So just commit.
Just commit.
Send it.
Let's see. I have a couple videos pulled up, but I gotta find them again.
But it was a good learning experience, you know. It taught me that yeah, I'll survive.
Could be worse. Let's see.
Yeah, and I had plenty of time. I could have kept going too. Um, like I didn't need to necessarily land there either. So
Was that like a practice morning flight or the morning
that
of the first competition?
that was a practice morning flight.
Okay. I think that's the morning we all basically had rip out landings.
Yeah, it was pretty breezy that day, towards the end, right there.
I remember thinking about trying to go over to that spot that you landed in that video. But I found a nice yard.
All right. Hopefully this plays.
Patrick, show and tell time.
Is that working out for you? Yeah. So this is that same flight. I believe it would technically be dropping into the Hez Waltz, but it's not like I got that low, so it's kind of hard to say that.
Yeah.
But you can see I got pretty much one hand on the burner, so my left hand's on the burner, right hand is on the frame. Uh, so
Mhm.
so my this balloon, I know it'll spin. Either it'll, what does it do? Let's watch it. It'll spin one direction, and then it'll pretty much stop. Which right now it's stopped. And once I know that, I know more like worse things are coming. So that's why I switch hands. So I go right hand on the burner, and now it starts to get definitely a little out of shape. Kind of just burning this whole time.
What's your descent rate? Do you know?
Uh, I actually do. It was just shy of 1,600.
I should probably just let mine
Does that sound
cool
work?
off more. I'm not hearing any sound come through.
Yeah, no sound.
Okay,
That's
I'll
all
have
right.
to
We
figure
got
that out.
the video.
Yeah. And instead of putting air into mine or heat, I should just probably let it cool off more and embrace the embrace the distortion.
Embrace the suck.
Yeah,
Mine, mine
it's
does
definitely the
about
worst
what
part.
yours is doing there.
Yeah,
Let it be known
it's
your
not
balloon's a
terrible.
70.
That's true.
Your balloon's a 70.
Um,
Oh
yep.
yeah, it actually kind of works
Unfortunately,
out. So like how we're stacked, 70, 65, 60. All the sizes we fly.
I don't think I realized that you were that big.
that's true. It's I would say probably 5,000 cubic feet too big minimum. Um, it really seems like the 60, maybe low 60s is probably where most people want to be.
I feel like the 65 at times is still a little too big. Like I could probably maneuver a little bit more with a little bit less.
Yeah, it'll pay off in Longview this year.
Just with how hot it is gonna be.
Yeah, but anywhere else that you go is you probably want that 60, 62.
Yeah.
So I would say.
I like the way the 60 performs. The two different ones I've flown. Um, on a rare occasion, I've been like, yeah, it could be a little bigger just to compensate for, heating differential. But um, there's also been other times where I thought the opposite. I was like, man, I wish it was a 56, just so I could get it to fall faster or whatever. On those on excuse me, on those cooler mornings, you're like, come on.
Yeah, the 70 will just float on you pretty bad. So if you're flying level, you're trying to do like last minute corrections, last second corrections, and you just want to pop up and then come like almost right back down, it'll pretty much just pop up and then it's just gonna hang there. And it doesn't matter like I mean I've dumped some heat out and it's like scary skinny and I'm already low, I'm probably less than 500, maybe around 300.
Yep.
So it's like, damn, I don't know how much more I can let go before I can't correct. I'll try to find a video of that scenario. I think I got one somewhere. I know that happened last year at Longview, where I got pretty sloppy to start with, where I just got too low, got pushed too much to the left, and then was trying to correct last minute, go back up, and come right back, and just couldn't come back down.
Yeah.
I feel your pain in the getting stuck up there category just from flying the big ride balloons, 300s and whatnot. A whole different thing, but
So that's got to be a little weird going back and forth. No?
very. It's so like when I went to Indianola last year, I think I had a solid 3 to 4 flights before I was like, okay, I'm comfortable in my racer again. Like where it just felt normal. um, because I'm coming off of, I don't know, the better part of 8 months or so of flying, significantly larger balloons, 180, 225, 300, compared to a little 60. And then the first flight back in my racer, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to die. Uh, it was a little aggressive how I was feeling, just the sheer size difference. I'm used to looking up and seeing like this big, massive, massive balloon, and then I look up and I see this little skinny thing the size of a tent, and I'm like, okay, we'll get there. But yeah, it's once you get back into it, it's like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure Jonathan Wright feels the same way.
Yeah, he gets to fly his racer a little more often in between than I do. I think he stays more proficient. Just because I don't bring mine with me whenever I go fly elsewhere. But yeah, he's pretty good at adapting. Um, Several of those other guys that do competition here and there, they're pretty good at jumping back and forth and making it look like cake.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little frustrating sometimes watching them, but like I practice all
Right.
year round.
See, that's almost the thing. I almost feel like I would do better flying a big ride balloon at these competitions sometimes versus jumping out of the ride balloon and getting in my racer.
You
I
should. You
almost think
should
I could
try it.
navigate it better.
Give it a shot.
Should.
What's the cap on nationals? It's like a 90, right?
Is there
I
a
don't
cap?
know.
I think there was a cap on it.
I'll have to look that up. I
I
don't
know they have one at
know.
Fiesta.
Yeah, Fiesta has one with
105.
exceptions. Yeah, I think so. Which makes sense. A lot of those guys down there like the 90, 105 range.
Yeah.
Not for competition necessarily, but yeah, I can't find that video right now.
All right. Well, we'll look at it
All right.
later.
We'll circle back to this topic. So,
Anything we want to cover on fast ascents descents before we sign off? Then.
The only thing I would add is like, if anybody's doing a fast ascent, and I haven't done this yet myself, but I've had several friends talk to me about it. If you're going up, like if you're going up super duper fast, um, and you want to slow down, like if you're in that pucker factor range, if you've got turning vents on your balloon, instead of opening your top and potentially creating the floating top effect, you can you could pull both of your turning vents and vent some air out that way. It may not make a huge difference, but you'd be venting air nonetheless.
Yeah.
So that's something that people can keep in mind if they want.
Nice.
Yeah.
yeah. Mine is just go until you're uncomfortable and keep going a little bit further.
And then push it a little
That's
further.
Yeah.
That's
I like
pretty much
that.
what I've. That's just what I've done. Is just like once you start feeling the floor move and the wicker move around you, slow it down and keep doing it until you're comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
It
getting
also-
comfortable with it is like that's the most important thing, right? Like don't go to a competition and try it the first time either. Like go out, fly the balloon, and that's the purpose, is to go fly up and down and get used to those motions.
Yes.
Exactly.
those are good times to implement a pilot restraint harness if you have one. If you get nervous in those scenarios at all, if you think if your basket gets wobbly, going up or down, or if you just feel uneasy in general,
Yeah,
it can help just be a little insurance that you stay in the basket.
that's true. I need to practice more with mine just to get used to going through the motions of the harness and everything.
Yeah, I pretty much wear one every flight anymore, no matter what balloon I'm flying, no matter what the flight profile is gonna look like. So,
Good deal.
Makes sense.
yep.
All right, dudes. Till
Cool.
next time.
Yeah.
Till next time.
Till
All
next
right.
time.